Ladies and gentlemen, why do you think Mount Kenya leaders are opposed to William Ruto, Raila Odinga's handshake? That is the question which most Kenyans are currently asking. Because over the weekend, while the Kenyans were just chilling, news emerged in this country that Raila Odinga and William Ruto had actually met secretly in Mombasa. And I knew at that point that Mount Kenya was not going to sleep that night. And indeed, news emerged that the next day, Mount Kenya leaders led by the Kirinyaga governor, Anne Waiguru, met somewhere in Runda to review the implication of the possibility of Raila Odinga and William Ruto entering into handshake in court. Why do you think Mount Kenya leaders are opposed to Ruto and Raila working together?
Ruto president kukaa na Raila ni kitu mzuri, kwa sababu afadhali wakae washindwe kuelewana, wapigane ngumi kwa hiyo nyumba, lakini Wakenya tuwe salama. Watoto wetu wasikufe kwa ajili ya sisi wanasiasa. Ninaunga hiyo kitu mkono, na ningependa kuomba ndugu zangu kutoka Mount Kenya. Nimeona jana wamekimbia wakiteta kwamba lazima deputy president awe ndani ya mkutano. Members of parliament from Mount Kenya, you are being premature. Kwa sababu watu wa kwanza wawili kukaa alikuwa Ruto na Raila, bandu babuna kura. Alafu wamepitisha kwamba wataita watu 5 kutoka upande huu, 5 kutoka upande huu, alafu wakae maneno ishe. Kama Mount Kenya mnataka namna hivyo, there's nothing wrong. The deputy president can be one of the 5 people on the Kenya Kwanza side. Alafu on the Azimio side, Kalonzo Musyoka awe one of those people. Where is the problem? Hata mimi mwenyewe ndio ninakaa kwa hiyo mkutano.
And for those who've been following this channel, I've always opined on this channel, and I want to repeat again, that politics is a very dirty game, and politics is also a very interesting game. And that in politics, we have only 2 constants: the interest and betrayal. As long as the interests of politicians can converge, they will always work together. As long as the interest of Raila and that of Ruto will converge, there is nothing Mount Kenya leaders will do. These 2 leaders will work. And as long as their interests are not converging, they will not work. But why do you think Mount Kenya leaders are opposed to the handshake? That's exactly what I want us to look in this particular video. Because one thing I know for sure is that the Jubilee rebels who left Jubilee to join the Kenya Kwanza will be casualties. I also know that ODM rebels who left ODM to join William Ruto will be casualties. I also know that IBC will also be casualties. And of course, Professor Gulie is already crying. So the question is, why are Mount Kenya leaders opposed to this handshake? Before we get into all those details, in case you are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or 2, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. And for this particular video, ladies and gentlemen, I want to make a request to you guys. Just press that subscribe button. And of course, for those who normally send me coffee, you can do using the numbers you are seeing on your screen. And I want to thank the following people. You are seeing their names there. I received. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Now let us dive in. And I don't want to waste a lot of time. Do you think Mount Kenya will be comfortable with William Ruto working with Raila Amolo Odinga? I don't think so. And the other question which we should ask ourselves is that, is there William Ruto minus Mount Kenya? William Ruto also understands that his politics is actually pegged on the mountain. Without Mount Kenya voting for William Ruto, I don't think he would be anywhere near what is called the presidency for that matter, which begs the question, can William Ruto sacrifice the mountain for a handshake? To understand that, William Ruto will have to sit down and figure out that what are the dynamics of 2027. Will the mountain stick with him? Will the mountain not stick with him? What are the benefits of working with Raila Odinga? Or will working with Raila Odinga lead to what led to Uhuru Kenyatta's losing the grip of the mountain? So we will have to look at all those factors. But why do you think Mount Kenya is actually opposed to any possibility of Raila Odinga having a handshake with William Ruto? For me, they are opposed to it because, number one, Raila phobia. You know, one thing which is clear in this republic is that for the last almost 20 years, Raila phobia has been created in the mountain. 20 years is a long time. If a child was born in 2002, because 2002 is when Raila supported Kibaki, then they fell out. By today, that person actually voted in the last election. And growing up, the only thing he was told is how Raila Odinga is a bad man. So the politicians from the mountain has always used Raila Odinga phobia for their campaigns. And that's the reason why they rejected Uhuru Kenyatta. The moment Uhuru Kenyatta entered into the handshake with Raila Odinga. So they fear that in case Raila will go into handshake with the William Ruto, there's a possibility that a section of the mountain, larger section, might not want to go that direction because they've been told that Raila Odinga is a bad man. And again, how do they now go back there and tell these people that, oh, Raila is not bad, you know, this is just politics? So that Raila phobia is what is worrying these people. During the last election, Uhuru Kenyatta did so much. Before the last election, Uhuru Kenyatta did so much for the mountain. He brought unprecedented development to Mount Kenya. The answer then was atukuli barabara, atukuli mashule. They wanted food. They used Raila phobia to reject Uhuru. Then now you go with Raila Odinga because you went to UDA. Now Raila is with the Ruto. What do you tell those people? So that Raila phobia is what is worrying these people. Number two, and let us be honest, the 2027 running mate equation. You know, William Ruto made Rigathi Gachagua. Rigathi Gachagua then made himself the deputy president of the Kikuyu, not of the Republic of Kenya. And the only reason why Mount Kenya were comfortable in UDA or Kenya Kwanza for that matter is because they were given that slot of the running mate. There's been this talk that William Ruto is considering kicking out Rigathi Gachagua and replacing him with Musalia Mudavadi in 2027. In fact, someone was telling me that William Ruto's intention is actually to disrupt the political landscape in the Republic of Kenya. What Uhuru could not do, where we have two tribes ruling for 60 years. So his intention is to amalizane na Rigathi Gachagua, then apeleke presidency to Musalia Mudavadi. That is where the problem is. According to the mountain, they want the presidency to go back to them. And that can only happen if they are in the deputy president, which is, for that matter, is Rigathi Gachagua. But there's also the question of Rigathi Gachagua's acceptability beyond the mountain. And that can explain why Rigathi Gachagua met Kamba leaders, Kamba business leaders for that matter, I think yesterday somewhere in Bomas of Kenya. Because he was appearing as if he was the president, the deputy president of the Kikuyu nation. So the mountain fears that if Raila were to enter into any handshake with William Ruto, then someone like Musalia Mudavadi might be more powerful. And then Raila might persuade Ruto to support Kalonzo Musyoka or to support Musalia Mudavadi. So for me, that's something which is worrying them. Number three, and which is the most important, is that the Mount Kenya leaders, currently they have a lot of say on William Ruto. They actually blackmail William Ruto to make certain actions or to take certain actions, to make certain moves. because William Ruto depends on the mountain. So there's the fear that if they were to enter into the handshake, if Ruto were to enter handshake with the Raila Odinga, then that influence is going to be eroded. And they have a living testimony. When Raila Odinga entered into handshake with Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, it rendered William Ruto irrelevant. Before that handshake, William Ruto was so powerful in Uhuru Kenyatta circles. He would demand anything because the fear that time was that with Ruto, Raila and Uhuru, Ruto could have teamed up with Raila Odinga and Ruto would have been in big trouble. So Ruto reached out to Raila. And when Ruto left with the numbers, now he had Raila Odinga supporting. That's exactly the fear in the mountain, that their influence in Kenya Kwanza is going to be eroded if Raila Odinga were to work with Ruto, because that would mean Raila Odinga coming with the numbers. And you can only blackmail someone using numbers. Number 4, in my view, is the rise of Uhuru Kenyatta and his allies. You see, Uhuru Kenyatta told the mountain that I know this guy, I know Ruto, vote for MPs on your party, then you'll have that party to bargain. Then they ended up taking Jubilee Party, never voted for Jubilee candidates. Then now you are there, Ruto and Raila working together. It means the signal will be, kumbe Uhuru was right. Uhuru who told us to have our party. So which means William Ruto might not really have a similar kind of influence he had in the mountain in 2022. And that is the biggest fear, that will give rise to Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. And lastly, campaign agenda. And of course, the share of government. You know, in Mount Kenya, as a politician, you only need to go there, attack Raila Odinga. You go there, make Raila Odinga your agenda. Now, for example, what will Kimani Ichung'wah be telling the voters in the mountain if he's given a platform? Yeah? He will be telling them about what? What will be the Nyandarua Senator, Methu, the young man, be telling the people of Nyandarua? Even Rigathi Gachagua, what do you think Rigathi Gachagua will be telling the mountain? Minus Raila Odinga. And of course, they also fear that the handshake would mean that certain slots will be given to Raila Odinga. If you are to have like 20 ambassadors, then you give Raila Odinga 6 or 5, then it will reduce the numbers which they will get. I don't know what you think, but that's my take. Thank you guys, and may you have a good day. Bye-bye.